Good morning, good afternoon and good evening from wherever you may be in the world, and you're looking at aerial shots from the most historic track in the world, the Nürburgring, for race number 2 of the NXT Gen Cup. The cars are lined up, they're getting the 3-minute board. As always, I'm joined in the commentary booth by the founder of the series, Fredrik Lestrup. Fredrik, we had an amazing race 1. It ended with rain and we're starting this one with the exact same conditions.
Hi Dan, and hi everyone watching at home or wherever you are. So Victor Nielsen finished P8 in race 1, starting on pole for second race.
I have someone who at the moment is in P4, down as one of my candidates for the win here in this race. Alex Gustafsson, coming from Rallycross, must be confident in these conditions, must count himself as one of the people for that victory. Here he is, Alex Gustafsson in P3, actually the number 19, the Tershine car. The gloss is with him in this weather, and well, he is confident going into this race. Then here we have the 16 of Monstallin starting in P4. A good race for him in race number 1. Went off, we thought, at turn 1, but actually gained some positions in doing so. Then in P5 we have Jonathan Engström. A good race for him in race number 1, finishing just outside the podium ahead of Enzo Holman in P6. A good race for Enzo Holman, made a mistake in the beginning, but clawed all those positions back that he lost except one, and that position was lost to our championship leader, Ellis Pietza. He will start the second race in exactly the same position as he started the first, in P7. For the people who don't know where he finished second in that race, looking to do one better this time. Linus Grandfors will start the race from the, well, that reversed P8, and he, well, has a lot of ground to make up in this race, Fredrik.
Yeah, I mean, it will be an exciting race. So obviously Ellis Pietza starting P7, just in front of Linus Grandfors, winning the first race. Ellis has pulled away though in the championship standings. He's 39 points ahead of the second place, which now is Linus Grandfors.
And he's not winning every race either. He's just consistently there, consistently performing. Ever since Oschersleben, he has finished no lower than second, which just tells you how consistent you have to be to lead that championship. Here we see Linus Grandfors. There is the 1-minute board. The 3-minute board you can see on the left-hand side. As you can see, the 1-minute board is up. After this, then we'll get the 30-second board. Now, Ben Tabor in the first race put the car into drive, car back into neutral, because of course, it only stays into drive for 5 seconds if you put launch mode on. So that was something that, of course, new driver, something you have to get used to and something you have to remember, because it's not in every car that it does this. So hopefully for Bente, this time I better start starting from P11.
Yeah, and we need to mention Mats Overhoff finishing his first ever car race in P10. So he's starting P10 in this race.
Mats Overhoff did an incredible job in that first race, finishing in the top 10. He was happy at his home race, especially. 30-second board has been given. The 5 red lights are going to come onto the gantry very, very soon. And then it will be lights out, and away we go for race number 2. It is the green flag in the back. The 5 red lights are going to be onto the gantry. Victor Nielsen will lead us away from pole position. The 4 of Theo Jernberg next to him. We're waiting for the lights to go out. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4. It's lights out, and away we go for race number 2. A bit of wheel spin off the start for Theo Jernberg. The 19 of Alex Gustafsson has a good start. The 16 of Monstallin as well. Ellis Pietza, keep an eye on him in the background. A good start for him as well. The 7 of Enzo Holman peeks to the inside. Is everyone going to keep it onto the track? Down the turn 1, Monstallin takes P3 from Theo Jernberg, who started second on the grid and is already down to P4. Jonathan Engström, a good start for him as well. Linus Grandfors watching out in the back as well.
No mistakes this time going into turn 1. Obviously very, very tricky conditions. These are basically their first full wet lap. So Ellis Pietza is off the track a little bit with some understeer. He's attacking Enzo Holman, giving him a little bit of a nudge from the back. Christiansson there trying to find positions past Graham in the fast right-hander.
Now, Christensen ended up in the gravel down in turn 1 the last time round in the first race. That happened in the first safety car restart, second safety car. There was never a restart, so he's trying to claw back some positions as well. Sebastian Schinmark as well, and Louise Larsen, she of course had that contact with Ben Tabor. We have 3 cars off the track. That's a 16 of Monstalin, I think. It's the 19 of Alex Gustafsson as well. And is that Elias Adestam in the number 8 as well? It looks like it from the side of the door.
Theo Jörnberg is definitely off. He started the race in a position further in the front, so that has given Enzo Holman a little bit of a free drive up the order.
Well, it is, at the moment, Jonathan Engström doing what he did in Oslo-Sneben as well and driving a superb first lap here in the second race. However, though, Victor Nielsen at the front has a bit of a gap. I do have to excuse myself. It wasn't Alex Gustafsson off the track. It wasn't Theo Jörnberg. Those 2 cars look very similar from a distance. The 19 of Alex Gustafsson in P2 right now. I had him down as one of the drivers for the victory. He's doing a tremendous job at the moment. The 51 of Louise Larsen at the moment at the back of the field, that is still driving, but we had 3 cars off down on the turn 5. It's side by side between Linus Grunfors and Ellis Piettia as well. Linus finds the drive around the outside of the last corner, and he finds his way up into P5. Ellis Piettia down to P6, but the only thing really that Ellis has to worry about is just finish this race in a good point scoring position.
Yeah, they need to get all the points they can, not risk too much, and Granfors needs to push. He needs to gain more points than Ellis to climb closer to him in the championship standings. So obviously no mistakes now in turn 1.
Look at that, in the ABB car is the home favourite, Mats Overhoff. Finds himself in P7 at the moment. A tremendous opening lap for him. He is up 3 positions. Ellis Piettia has lost that position, of course, to Linus Grunfors. There's the 7 of Enzo Holman up the inside of the 47 of Jonathan Engström. He's down to P4 now. It is Enzo Holman up into the podium where he finished last race as well.
And it looks like Linus Grunfors is pulling away from Ellis. So Linus has clearly managed to find the grip. It's tricky in these conditions. You need to find the grip on the track. It might not be the ideal racing line, so it might be a wider line, a tighter line. So they need to find that, and they also need to be cautious not to make mistakes like they did in race 1.
If I look out of the commentator booth, Frederick, I can see that the drizzling seems to have stopped. So track conditions will be improving by every lap we turn. So to every corner you get, you're met with new conditions.
We also need to mention Celia Högfeldt. She's in P11 at the moment. She had a big impact in race 1. The mechanics have worked really hard to repair the whole front end of the car, all the steering, the cooling and everything. The chassis rails was actually bent quite a lot on that car.
Here we see a replay, the 11 of Ellis Piettia off the track. A bit of contact there with the 16 of Monstalin, then diving to the inside. Couldn't quite get there. There was no contact. Ellis, just a bit of oversteer, it seems like, and off the track to the inside. Then there was the contact with Enzo Holman. Then down into turn 5. It was absolutely calamity for the 2 drivers, Monstalin and Theo Jörnberg, in a good position, P3 and 4 respectively at the time, both going wide. And once again, it seems like I think it is Elias Adestam. It was not Elias Adestam, it was Sebastian Schinmark in the 5 car who was off the track there as well. The gap at the front of the field now then, 5/10 from Victor Nielsen to Alex Gustafsson. Ellis Piettia seems to have gotten past Linus Grunfors again.
And we have a new leader.
This is Alex Gustafsson, who's passed Victor Nielsen with push to pass deep down in the turn 1 though. So is Victor Nielsen. And there's Linus Grunfors up the inside of Enzo Holman. That was a late move from the 3. Gets past. An incredible move. This is also the 47 of Jonathan Engström getting overtaken by the 11 of Ellis Piettia. Once again, we do have a lead change. Victor Nielsen back up to the front. And I think that is a push to pass wasted from the 19. Oh, goodness me. Goodness me. We have the 51 of Louise Larsen. It's a 0 points weekend for her. She's in the gravel, deep into the gravel, down in the turn 1. And that is going to throw out a yellow flag and potentially another safety car.
Yeah. Alex Gustafsson, he's coming directly from rallycross. So the conditions out there with a slippery track, with oversteering, understeering, it must fit him perfectly. Victor Nielsen obviously doing a really good job, keeping the car on the track, not making any mistakes. So we will for sure see a safety car now, after Louise Larsen being stuck in the gravel trap.
who's stuck in there pretty deep. Also, Enzo Holman has gotten past Linus Grundfors. Again, Jonathan Engström gets past Mats Overhoff, and there's the safety car that we were indeed expecting. Well, how is the field neutralized then? The top 5 is looking as follows. Victor Nielsen leading the way ahead of Alex Gustafsson, then Enzo Holman in P3. He just in time overtook Linus Grundfors again before that safety car came out, and then it's Jonathan Engström in P5. Ellis Spezia in 6th, Mats Overhoff in 7th, ahead of Elias Adestam in P8. Alexander Christensen climbing a couple of positions in the opening stages of this race. He is in P9. And rounding off the top 10, the second of our new drivers this weekend, Bente Boer. Siri Högfeldt then in 11th, ahead of Graham Hofmans. He had a season best finish of 9th in that first race, looking to do even better. Philip Bartels in P13, ahead of Louise Larsen in P14. She's going to drop down the order. That promotes Måns Stalin up into P14, Sebastian Schenmark up into P15, and Theo Jernberg into P17. And then at the back of the field, Katie Turner in P17.
I think the weather, since none of these drivers really have driven in the rain, it levels the playing field a little bit.
Yeah.
So Bente Boer and Mats Overhoff, they have basically the same conditions now. No one has experience with these cars in the rain, and they're clearly doing really well. 7th position for Mats Overhoff, starting 10th. That's a good job.
What this also does is it gives those drivers that went off in lap number 1 at turn 5 a chance to catch back up. That means Måns Stalin, Sebastian Schenmark and Theo Jernberg, the 3 that went off into turn 5, can now catch back up to the field. Now, if you are wondering, Louise Larsen is not allowed to further continue in this race. Oh, she did exactly what happened in the first race, caught one of the weather patches onto the green stuff, and well, there's no holding it from there. Luckily, though, keeps it out of the barrier.
She will be very, very unhappy with herself. She made a mistake in race 1, bent the steering, and now another mistake. But it's a steep learning curve for these young drivers. You need to learn from your mistakes, and Louise will clearly take this with her going into the last 3 rounds in the second half of the season.
Yeah. Throttling up there towards a wall. I mean,
she was hoping to get out.
Yes, hoping to get out, but yeah, never ever was gonna work. She's stuck deep into that gravel. That means that she's now has to be removed. If I look out of my commentator's window, they're almost done with removing her from the track. Victor Nielsen then leading the way. A good race for him. Has never won a race. Well, basically until earlier this morning, we hadn't seen another race winner than Elias Adestam or Ellis Spezia. Linus Grundfors, the 3rd race winner only in the 5th race. Victor Nielsen could add himself to that list.
Yeah, so we have the message now from race control. So safety car will go in this lap. So Victor Nielsen is controlling the field. Let's hope for a better turn 1 than last race, Dan.
Yes, a better restart than last time. Now we know that Linus Grundfors waited all the way to the line, not trying to give anyone a bit of confidence going into the last corner. Here we see Victor Nielsen controlling the field, doing exactly the same as Linus Grundfors did last time. Now keeping it pinned to the insides of the corner. It is Alex Gustafsson who is in 2nd. Chira, what is he going to do? Is he going to use push to pass? The 7 of Enzo Holman. Is he going to use push to pass? We don't know. We're going to have to see. Coming off the restart, Victor Nielsen is going green now. It's green, green, green. The 7 of Enzo Holman is right in the back of Alex Gustafsson. Alex Gustafsson seems to use the slipstream. He can't use that push to pass. Use that earlier on in the race. Left hand side of the screen, you can see the green flag is out again. Ellis Spezia seemingly using a bit of push to pass to get past Linus Grundfors. The inside though for the number 3, the outside for the 7 is going to be 3 wide down in the turn 1. They're all this time going to get through clean in the back of the field as well. Look at that, Måns Stalin around the outside like he did it in race 1.
Enzo Holman is trying on the inside of Gustafsson, and Linus Grundfors and Ellis Spezia is side by side again. Ellis trying to take the wide line. Will it stay within the track limits? Yes, he's caught both Enzo Holman and...
3 wide though. This is the 3 of Linus Grundfors in the back. That is the number 27 of Alexander Christensen. And once again at this safety car restart, it goes wrong for the 27 of Alexander Christensen. That demotes him all the way down to P17. And he's going to have to climb his way all the way back up. Victor Nielsen still leading the way. Ellis Spezia seemingly in P3 now. Has gotten past Enzo Holman and Linus Grundfors. What a drive from him all the way up into P2. Alex Gustafsson dropping right down the order at the restart.
Yeah, P6 for Gustafsson at the moment. That was a bad. He must have made a mistake. He clearly ended up in the wrong line. Ellis Bietza and Enzo Holman is fighting for the positions, but Linus Gronfors, that's a good restart for him. Do you think he has the speed to catch up Victor Nielsen? He clearly did a good job in race 1. Victor Nielsen now needs to focus, and push the pass by Linus Gronfors, and he is past Victor Nielsen.
That was quite an easy pass down the straight. Now he has used push to pass. Victor Nielsen, we don't know how much he has left. So he might have one in defense, but Linus Gronfors, we haven't seen it yet, Fredrik. We haven't seen a Grand Slam. No one has taken pole position. One race 1 and one race 2. So immensely difficult to do with that reverse grid race. Victor Nielsen now has to watch out, though, that he doesn't get overtaken by the 11 of Ellis Bietza behind him. Gronfors a bit wide into the last corner. Victor Nielsen keeping it pinned to the apex.
It looks like they're trying different lines. So Linus clearly is choosing a completely different line than Victor Nielsen is doing. You saw it into the chicane as well. Linus Gronfors went extremely tight. And Ellis Bietza is using push to pass on the start-finish line. And he is past Victor Nielsen, or side by side at least. Can Enzo Holman use this to catch them at the exit of turn 1?
It is once again P2. It's the same order for the top 2 that we saw in race 1. And they switch once again. Linus Gronfors a bit deep into the corner. And that's going to give both of them a chance to catch back up. Alex Gustafsson on the outside of the 47 of Jonathan Engström. He gets him this time down the insides of turn 2. And he's past Enzo Holman. It did indeed, Fredrik, allow him to catch back up. Now, from a driver's perspective, how difficult is it to judge these conditions every time? It's a 15-second time penalty for the number 5 of Sebastian Schenmark for overtaking under yellow. There we can see the red and the red and white car of Sebastian Schenmark. He will receive a 15-second time penalty. That's huge.
That is huge. That's a shame. It's something you need to be in control of. And Linus Gronfors is really pushing the limits here, trying to find grip. It's all about finding the grip. Elias Adelstam, we haven't talked much about him. He's in P7 at the moment, so clearly he's losing points in the championship. He's right behind Alexander Gustafsson, who has good speed in this tricky conditions, so try to learn. And here we have the red car of Schenmark, who's just got the 5-second penalty in the big
15.
car. 15, sorry.
15 seconds penalty.
That's a shame for him. He was obviously hit by Siri, race 1.
Yeah.
Big damage to the side of that car, but it's all repaired and he's up and running.
Talking about Siri, she at the moment is in P12 at the front of the field, though. It is Elias Adelstam finding his way past Alex Gustafsson now onto the back of Victor Nielsen, who has been overtaken by Enzo Holman. So the top 3 looking exactly the same as it did in race 1. Victor Nielsen not taking anything with that car. 27 and 4 also have a 5-second time penalty for track limits. There is the 7 of Enzo Holman to the inside of Victor Nielsen. A bit of rubbing, a bit of racing. The cutback though from Victor Nielsen. Is it going to work? Is it going to pay off? It is not. The better drive out of the corner for Enzo Holman. He keeps P3.
It looks like Victor Nielsen is struggling with the grip. So here you can see into the chicane. Victor Nielsen trying to stay on the inside. There's a bit of contact.
Door mirror to door mirror.
Ellis has to, and there's contact again. Ellis has to use all of the curbs. Didn't leave much room for Victor on the outside, but they were still side by side going into the last corner. It looks like Victor is struggling a little bit with the line in the last corner. We saw the same thing when Linus Gronfors overtook him, and Gronfors is pulling away. He just put the fastest lap time in of all of them, 1:05.830. Pulling away, he's got a 1.9-second lead in front of Ellis Bietza at the moment.
I mean, is it possible? Is that Grand Slam possible for Linus Gronfors? To the inside goes Victor Nielsen. This is where he isn't struggling. And the 7 of Enzo Holman is used push to pass at least once. We don't know how many Victor is left to the outsides of 4. That is not going to work. And he has to wait for another opportunity. Linus Gronfors, though, the gap at the front of the field, almost 2 seconds now. And he shows us with that lap that the track is still improving. There was the move for the 50 of Victor Nielsen. Both go wide, a bit deep from Victor, but he's showing that he doesn't want to give this one up without a fight. What this is doing, it is allowing the top 2 to break away. But is it going to be Enzo Holman? Is it going to be Victor Nielsen? Or is it going to be Alex Gustafsson on the podium?
I mean, Alex is just waiting for them to make a mistake. And Adelstam, he's clearly following now. He's gained some speed, some momentum. He's doing good lap times. That's a really good fight. I don't know, Dan, do they have push to pass left? When will they use it? Adelstam is trying to find a way past Gustafsson, staying very close. So we have a yellow flag in turn 5 at the moment. No, not anymore.
So here we go, the 19 defense. It is Elias Arestam to the inside of the chicane. Is he gonna get it? Yes, he is. They're still side by side coming to the exit. One of them has to cut across the corner. No, they don't. It's the 19 of Alex Gustafsson who makes contact with Jonathan Engström. This is amazing racing going down into the chicane. Pushed a bit wide though by the 8 of Elias Arestam. In the background, it's Mats Overhoff as well now onto the back of these two. If something goes wrong for these two, it's Mats Overhoff right there to pick up the pieces. We're on the last lap of the race now. Linus Granfors has a 3.4 second gap. You can't give this one away. They're side by side as well at the front. Enzo Holman, where is he going to go? The outside it'll be for turn 1. In the background, Elias Arestam has gotten past, but it's Jonathan Engström and Alex Gustafsson side by side. Further contact between these two.
Tried to do the cutback, but there was no space. There was still a car in the way.
Victor Nielsen once again running him in deep. He's not giving him any chance really to do that cutback. He has to really brake early. Here we're going to see that contact between the 19 of Alex Gustafsson and Jonathan Engström. Alex was tight into that corner, got pushed right to the exit by Elias Arestam, and then there was no way really for Jonathan to go. Here we can see the 50 of Victor Nielsen making the pass on Enzo Holman, getting onto that podium, so valuable onto the last lap of the race. Does Enzo have some push to pass left, maybe, to try and re-overtake him down into the back straight? This is the gap that Linus Granfors has, 3.4 seconds over the line it was. Well, it's difficult to give this one away really. Even if Ellis has pushed the pass, 3.4 seems a bit too far to catch up. And there is the 6 of Mats Overhoff getting past, I think, Elias Arestam. No, it's the 5 of Sebastian Schinmark who he is defending from for P8. But an incredible race so far from Mats Overhoff, and he has to survive a couple more corners to pick up a top 8. Sebastian Schinmark is not agreeing with it, though the outside is the better line through that corner, and Mats Overhoff takes it. But, well, we have to look at the front of the field. Linus Granfors, pole position yesterday. It was a win. Earlier on today, this morning, he has a 3.4 second gap, and there's contact between the two. That was eventually going to end up somewhere. Enzo Holman facing the wrong way. Victor Nielsen having to cut across the chicane. And it's Måns Tallin also having to take the faster chicane. But there is Linus Granfors. For the first time ever in the NXT Gen Cup, we see a grand slam from the number 3. Linus Granfors, pole position, win in race 1, and the win in race 2. Ellis Spezia finishing second twice, doing what he needs to do for the championship. Elias Arestam somehow managed to find his way up onto the podium as well. Look at the gaps though, from P4 all the way down to P7 to Sebastian Schinmark. They're covered by 6/10 for 5 cars.
Yeah, and Victor Nielsen and Enzo Holman clearly had a big hit there going into the chicane. Victor Nielsen was in the front, he's P5, and Enzo Holman P10. He lost a lot in that contact. He had to spin the car around. But what a drive by Linus Granfors. He won the race with 4.1 seconds. Dan, that's quite a big gap. And you could see it. I was commentating it in the race. He drove completely different lines to the other one. So he clearly found the grip out there. And he's a rainmaster. He did a really good job.
That 4.1 seconds came after he overtook Ellis Spezia, and then further on into the race got that P1. But what's an incredible race we've seen. Theo Jernberg finishing P12, had him higher up my list. Alex Gustafsson, Mr. Consistent, once again just missing out on that podium. There's the contact between the 50 and the 7. I can imagine that there's going to be a penalty for Victor Nielsen. Enzo Holman had nowhere to go really, and this is what I said, he had to try and brake early to try and mix it up a bit. But there's the contact, and that seems like that has damaged the front left of Enzo Holman and the front right of Victor Nielsen, both seemingly coming out of that one unscathed. Doing a bit of rally crossing for Enzo Holman, and
almost crashing again, turning around there. That's a shame, that's a shame. We will see what the race director will do about that.
Here we go, here we have the result. Linus Granfors, the first ever Grand Slam in the NXT Gen Cup. Ellis Spezia finishing second twice. Elias Arestam finding himself onto the podium, doing what he needs to do. Alex Gustafsson in P4, Mr. Consistent. Victor Nielsen in P5, ahead of Jonathan Engström in P6. Mats Overhoff in 7th, and Måns Tallin in 8th. Enzo Holman all the way down in P9 after that contact. Philip Bartos picking up his first ever top 10 finish. Bente Boer in P11, a great result for her. Of course, we have to mention Mats Overhoff in P7, a great result here at the Nürburgring. 2 home races for him, and what an incredible job he did. Well, thank you very much all for this weekend. Thank you to everyone who made it possible. Thank you to everyone watching at home. Well, we're back at Yellow for testing and for the 4th round of the season in 2 weeks' time. Until then, Frederick, thank you very much. You at home, thank you very much for watching. And everyone here at the track, thank you very much for being here. Until then, we'll see you there, and bye-bye.